Hi there, I'm Allison Kirak, owner of Stitched Real Estate LLC, Transaction Coordination Services and Coaching, and I am here with a new video today all about how much freedom you really can have as an independent transaction coordinator owning your own TC business. So I felt impassioned to talk about this topic for a while because I think a lot of people, if you're watching this, maybe you want to get into this business, or that's one of the reasons you did get into this business, is for the flexibility. Doing contract work or owning your own business is definitely a way to have flexibility in your life and have a little bit more control over your lifestyle, what you want your day-to-day schedule to look like, and everything like that. So I'm going to talk today, kind of not a myth buster, but just give my personal experience and opinion on how much freedom you can really have in this role. If you're enjoying this video as we go along, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Check out the rest of our channel if you are new here. We've got lots of great tips and tricks for you. All right, so I categorize as a small business owner freedom into three different main categories. The first one I'm going to touch on briefly because I really think the other two are what pertain mostly to being an independent transaction coordinator, owning a TC business versus maybe some other types of service providers and things like that. So the first one is freedom in how you conduct your business. I think pretty much every business owner, or most of them, have this type of freedom. That's why I just want to touch on it briefly. This will be, how you want to interact with clients, how you want to run your day-to-day business, how you're getting clients, how you're getting things done, etc., etc. So you have a ton of freedom if you're starting your own TC business in deciding how you want to get business done. But I want to focus more today on two other types of freedom. And the first is going to be location freedom. I'm starting with this because I think this is a huge selling point for a lot of people who are interested in this line of work, because most transaction coordinators that own their own businesses work remotely, completely remotely. This can be a huge win even if you just want to sit at your house all day, but you're tired of your daily commute. Or if you perhaps have a more nomadic lifestyle, or you wish to travel more, maybe your partner or whoever you want to travel with has more time and flexibility than you, or maybe you have a lot of personal commitments that require you to be away from the house or traveling, and so that may make it more desirable for you to have the freedom to work from wherever you want. And I will say, in my experience, you pretty much have almost total location freedom with this job. A couple caveats might be if you're traveling somewhere with a completely different time zone, or you live somewhere with a very different time zone than the clients you're serving. That's definitely something you'll want to be mindful of, as it could make things a little more difficult, but depending on your schedule and preferences, could be even better for you as well. And then the other thing for me, I've experienced more so personally, a couple things. The first is that while I have the location freedom to work from anywhere, I do find I spoil myself or just get used to day-to-day working in my own office with my huge monitor and my multiple screens. And so when I have to consolidate to do all that work from my laptop and my phone, it's just a little more challenging or a little more time consuming, but I can still get all of the work done. It's just more of a preference that sometimes it's a little more difficult. I know if I'm on the go, certain tasks are going to be harder or easier than others, so maybe I'll plan to get certain tasks done before then, etc., etc. And an example of this for me would be entering a new contract and getting started, because I like to pull up one thing on one screen and A-frame on the other, so contract on one, A-frame on the other where I'm entering it. But obviously I can split my laptop screen, I can go back and forth. There's ways to work around this. That's just really the only kind of thing I've personally really experienced with location. And then on location notes, sometimes you may just want to work far away from your clients. You don't live there. Maybe you had a lot of experience, or you know a lot of people in one state, but you moved to a different state, so there's a lot of opportunity for you there. But I think a lot of people want to have the flexibility to travel. And I think it's just important to set realistic expectations on that. So for me, while I can work from anywhere, if I'm on a vacation where I want to spend time with my family, or there's activities planned, I'm probably still going to need to let the clients know or make other arrangements to maybe have someone cover for me. That way I can fully enjoy the vacation. One or two things here or there, it's easy to make it work, but depending on your file count, you may want to be having conversations with the clients, let them know if you are traveling, If that's something you're doing frequently, that might play more into your business model and how you set that up. But while I can work from anywhere, it's not always fun to be working from anywhere in terms of vacation. So that's definitely something to keep in mind when you're making plans. Okay, and the next type of freedom I want to discuss is freedom of your time. So I think this is another huge perk to owning your own business or specifically working remotely as a transaction coordinator is you may be looking for more control of your time. And you definitely can have that as you are in control owning your own business, setting your own hours, and deciding what works for you in terms of your schedule. However, I do feel like I have much more location freedom as a small business owner in the TC realm versus time freedom. And so I kind of just want to explain that and why I feel that way and kind of how I handle that. So we personally have set hours. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 is when we're available for our TC services for our agents. So this way we can plan to have time off in the evening, on weekends, on holidays that we're off, and then we know we're working a little bit more of a standard schedule so that we can adhere to that, know those are our working hours, and that's when we need to be available to the agents. Now, that does not mean that we need to sit in front of our computer the entire day if we do not have work that needs to be done. That's always been one of my personal favorite models of kinds of work is you can give me 10,000 things to do, but then tell me I can be done when I'm done. Versus a job where you may just have to sit there, waiting for a customer to come in or just waiting for a call or an email, even if you don't really have anything to do. I've always found that kind of work incredibly frustrating. So I think definitely having the freedom of, okay, I've got 20 tasks to do for my transactions today, then I can be done. That definitely provides a certain level of time freedom. However, we need to make sure we're within range or accessibility of our phone or our computer during those set business hours. And I think what's important on this is setting appropriate turnaround time. So this is something you can decide what makes sense within your own business and really communicating that to the agents you're working with up front. So for example, you're available perhaps between Monday through Friday between 9 to 5, and you're gonna answer all inquiries within an hour. Or any inquiries received before noon will be responded to the same day. So really just setting up your communication turnaround time standards. That way the agents know what to expect, and that helps you have a little bit more of time freedom. Otherwise, if you say you're available between 9 to 5 and you haven't set a standard for average turnaround time or what your personal expectations are for your turnaround time, the agents may expect things to be done immediately. Also, sometimes there are truly urgent requests that come up. By setting boundaries with the agents of your available hours and available times of how long it typically takes you to work on something once you've received it, you can help mitigate them, maybe it's 4:55 and you really need to be done for the day, them expecting you to necessarily get that done before 5 o'clock in the next 5 minutes if those are your hours. However, sometimes things really are urgent, and as TCs, a lot of times we want to get things done for the file and we want to serve our agents in that way. So personally, even though I set boundaries with the agents, I know a lot of times we've got something ending at 5 o'clock, a deadline, I'm keeping an eye on it, 4:30, 4:45, 4:50, 4:55, and I'm gonna make sure I get that done for my agent. So this is something, depending on deadlines, you can kind of look ahead for and plan for sometimes for the week of, right? But you may need to occasionally get on your computer quickly, get on your phone quickly, etc. I think the best practice is to put those boundaries in place so that the agent isn't expecting that of you all the time, but there may be times where you truly want or need to do something. So making sure that whatever hours you're advertising as available, you are somewhat readily available and able to get the work done, or you're setting really strict and strong expectations up front of what the clients can expect. Okay, so I hope that kind of clears up or gives some insight on how I view freedom in my schedule and how I get my work done and where as a business owner in the transaction coordinator business. And I think it's really important if you're getting into this to think about what kind of freedom you're looking for. I think a lot of times you might be thinking, I just want more freedom. Well, what does freedom really mean to you? To me, it's broken down into those three main categories of how I get my work done, where I get my work done, and when I get my work done. But that might mean something to you, or you can use my three categories as a starting point and dive deeper into what each of those means for you, ideally what they look like for you, and how you can set up or adjust your business plan to reflect those standards. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to hear in the comments below how you set freedom or define freedom in your transaction coordinator business, or what type of freedom you're most looking for in starting your new TC business and getting things off the ground. Drop any questions in the comments. We will get back with you. Be sure to like, subscribe, and check out the rest of our channel. Have a great day, y'all.